Fairytale is back, and this entire chapter is dedicated to Juvia and her fight with Gate. By the way, Juvia has not had a one-on-one since Tartarus. To put that into perspective, if we're adding 100 Years Quest, which I am because it's still canon, that's roughly 300 chapters since Juvia had a one-on-one fight. That's insane. That's actually insane. I mean, I completely understand putting someone like Levi on the sidelines to cheer on Gajeel while he does his fights, because Levi's never been the strong character. She's always just been the smart one who figures out the enemy's weakness and then gives the information to the others, or she breaks some kind of code. But Juvia has always been a fighter. That's how she was introduced. So the fact that she's been on the back burner for so long is insane. Anyway, back to the chapter. So Juvia's original plan was to go straight towards Gray, like it always is, but when she saw that Meredy was in trouble, she couldn't just leave her, which makes me really happy. It means that Juvia and Meredy have really become friends over the years, like proper true friends, which is good because the two of them started out in a very awkward situation, to say the least. Juvia then starts acting like Juvia, which then makes Meredy question if this was Gate's magic causing her to go crazy, and he's like, no, that wasn't me at all. My magic is just the gates to the underworld. And Juvia, through the Juvia brain, is the best way to describe it, starts to connect the dots on Gate means celestial magic, which means Lucy, which means this guy is a love rival. Unless you have been reading or watching Fairytale from the very beginning, that train of thought would be retarded, but it actually does make sense if you're in the mind of Juvia, because she sees Lucy as a love rival. Lucy uses celestial magic opened gates, therefore anyone who uses gates must be a love rival. Once again, that doesn't make sense if you think about it, but we're going with Juvia's mind here. But hey, whatever motivates her to fight harder, that's really all that matters. So now she's going to take down Gate, her love rival. Weird statement to say out loud. So Juvia attacked with her water, and Gate's like, oh, that's perfect. I'll use the 5 elements. And he opens up a gate, it absorbs her water element, and then a second gate appears above her, and it turns into a tree and attacks her. So we're going by the Asian 5 elements instead of the Western 4 elements. The Asian 5 elements are water, earth, fire, metal, and wood. And so the way in the Eastern elements work is that one element is weaker to another, so water is weak to wood. So that's why her water magic transformed into a tree when she attacked him. Now, because Juvia is made of water, the tree attacking her didn't really have any effects. Gate then opens up a second gate. He absorbs the tree from around him that was created by Alderaan, and from another gate pops out fire right behind Juvia, burning her. Once again, she's made of water, so fire does not affect her. Physical attacks, fire, things like that do not affect her. You have to attack her soul or her mind. Juvia then goes, okay, so if I can't launch an attack at you because you could just absorb it, I'll just attack you physically then, if that's how I have to beat you. And she goes in to stab him with a water spear. Unfortunately, as her hand stabs into him, it begins to be absorbed into his body because his entire body is in fact a gate. And then another gate appears somewhere else with her hand pops out, but her hand is now made of wood. Luckily for Juvia, this isn't a permanent effect. All she had to do is just rip her hand out of Gate's body, and her hand went back to normal. Juvia then begins to figure out what his ability is, so she decides to grab some dirt just to make sure. She throws it at Gate, it passes through his Gate body, and out pops some metal. And so that completely confirmed her theory on how his magic works, and so she then decides, okay, so all I have to do is throw some metal into him, and out pops some water. And then she realizes, no, that won't help her at all, because she can't eat the water like a dragon slayer and become stronger, so that's pointless. She then realizes that the only way water would be helpful in this situation is if Lucy was here to summon Aquarius. And for the first time in a while, she's now regretting that Lucy isn't there to join her in this fight. Gate then summons his Underworld Gate, which is that thing with the hands that drag you in and turn you into a corpse by sucking out your life force. And it's a lot stronger than I thought it was because it can actually target multiple people at once, which makes sense. It has multiple hands, and it grabs both Juvia and Meredy, who is currently helpless just lying on the ground. Even though he says this is the gate to hell or the underworld, it seems to still be physical hands that grab Juvia's physical body and not her soul, and so she could just turn to water and just escape easily. It's really funny how both of their abilities are basically, you can't hit me. And so they're kind of in an infinite loop of neither can hurt the other. But Juvia has come to the realization of how she can beat Gate's magic. First off, she grabs a wooden log from one of the trees around her and throws it into the gate. Then the corresponding gate spews some fire. And then from there, she literally just starts grabbing more and more gates, putting them in front of the other gates, causing each element to transform into its corresponding element until eventually she gets to water, and she starts to flood the area around them. Juvia then yells out, "Help me, Lucy," and screams out, "Open the gate of the Water Bearer's palace." And Juvia herself transforms into a mermaid. Now, The assumption by me and even Mary and pretty much anyone who's reading this is, oh, so Juvia can use celestial magic now. And apparently she doesn't just summon celestial spirits, she's able to turn herself into one. No, that's not what happens at all. What Juvia did is she used her water body to reshape itself to make her look like a mermaid. Nothing changed. Literally nothing. She's no stronger than she was before. She's not using a different type of magic. Literally, it's just Juvia just reshaping herself with her standard water magic she already has. And at the end of the chapter, she even tells Mary that the only reason why she did is because she figured it would just make her feel stronger. That there literally was no reason for her to do this. Anyway, now that she has all this excess water, she actually does something pretty clever. What she does is she decides to cover each of the gates with water. She doesn't put the water through the gate so it transforms. No, she just covers the gate in water and then holds it there like in a bubble. And then she attacks Gate with her water and jumps as much as she can inside of him. Gate didn't notice this because he's only focused on Juvia attacking him. And so, when he allows all that water to flow into his body, he's already too late when he realizes that it's not leaving. And she literally pops him from the inside out as a water balloon. It's probably one of the most brutal ways Juvia or anyone in Fairy Tail has actually killed someone. And so yes, Juvia has won her fight. And I wouldn't say it was an easy fight. I would say it was probably a mid-diff kind of situation, but Juvia didn't have to go all out, which is fine. This fight wasn't about brute force trying to crush the opponent. What made this fight interesting is the fact they both had hacks abilities, and they were trying to figure out each other's hacks abilities so they can overcome them. And Julia just happened to figure out Gate's abilities first. But yeah, this was a solid chapter. I really had fun with it. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Fairy Tail and other things. Thank you, and have a great day.